Over the past 3 weeks, we've built something together. You learned what's actually in your control, and you stopped wasting energy fighting what isn't. You learned what should guide your decisions: justice, wisdom, courage, temperance. You learned to make choices you can live with. You learned that time is finite, and you started examining whether your career is actually aligned with what matters to you. But here's what none of that protects you from: the project that fails, the proposal that gets rejected, the promotion that goes to someone else, the mistake you make in front of people who matter, the launch that lands with a thud. These things are coming. They're not hypothetical, they're inevitable. And most people's instinct is to see them as obstacles to success, things that shouldn't have happened, proof that you're not as good as you thought. But Marcus Aurelius had a completely different framework, one that changes everything. The obstacle isn't blocking your path. The obstacle is the path. Welcome back to Book Takeaways for Professional Growth. I'm Sophia, and today, in our final episode on meditations, we're learning how to turn every setback into fuel, how to respond to failure in a way that actually strengthens you instead of breaking you. Because this is where everything we've learned gets tested. Segment 1. The obstacle is the way, the core philosophy. The counterintuitive framework. Here's what Marcus Aurelius understood that most of us don't. Obstacles aren't interruptions to your development. They are your development. Think about physical training. If you want to build muscle, you don't avoid resistance. You seek it out. You intentionally lift weights heavy enough to stress your muscles. That stress is what creates growth. The muscle doesn't develop from comfortable repetitions. It develops from being pushed beyond its current capacity, from micro tears that rebuild stronger. Character works the same way. When everything is easy, when every project succeeds, when every decision works out, you stay exactly who you are. Same habits, same thinking, same limitations, but when you hit an obstacle, when something doesn't work, when someone says no, when the path you thought was clear suddenly closes, that's when you're forced to develop something new, a new skill, a new perspective, a new level of resilience, a new understanding of yourself. Marcus wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This isn't motivational fluff. This is tactical reality. The obstacle is the arena where you build what you need, not despite the difficulty, because of it. 3 types of obstacles that build you. Not all obstacles are the same. Let me break down 3 types because each one develops something different in you. Type 1. Obstacles to strategy. Your plan doesn't work. The market rejects your approach. Your solution fails. What this builds: adaptability, creativity, the ability to think on your feet and pivot without falling apart. Type 2. Obstacles to emotion. Someone disappoints you. You're rejected. You're criticized publicly. You fail in a way that hurts. What this builds: emotional resilience, the ability to separate your worth from outcomes, the confidence that you can survive difficulty and keep going. Type 3. Obstacles to ego. You have to admit you were wrong. You need to ask for help. You have to take a step backward instead of forward. What this builds: humility, wisdom about your own limitations, the capacity to collaborate and learn. Most of us resist all 3. We want our strategy to work flawlessly. We want to avoid emotional pain. We want to maintain our image of competence. But here's the truth. That resistance is what keeps you small. The moment you stop resisting the obstacle and start extracting what it's trying to teach you, that's when you grow. Segment 2. How obstacles build character and skill. The setback as information. Let's get specific about what happens when you hit a setback. Your immediate instinct is usually some version of panic, defend yourself, blame someone else, minimize it, or replay it obsessively in your mind. The Stoic response is completely different. It's pause, extract the information, build something with it. Here's what I mean. Every setback is offering you data, information you didn't have before. Your pitch got rejected. That's not a judgment on your worth. It's data about what wasn't working. Maybe your framing, maybe your timing, maybe your understanding of their actual problem. Before the rejection, you assumed your pitch was fine. Now you know it's not. That knowledge has value. A project failed? That's data about assumptions you made that didn't hold up. Your timeline was wrong. Your team structure wasn't right. Your approach missed something critical. Before the failure, you thought your approach was solid. Now you know where the gaps are. That makes your next attempt better. A relationship at work soured? That's data about communication, expectations, or judgment about fit. Before things broke down, you thought everything was fine. Now you know it wasn't, and you can learn from that. The key reframe: the setback isn't a personal failure, it's feedback, and feedback is the fastest path to improvement. So the first move in converting obstacles into growth is this: treat them as information, not as judgment. Not, I'm bad at pitching, but that pitch approach didn't land. What would work better? Not, I'm a terrible leader, but that leadership approach created the wrong dynamic. What would I change? Not, I'm not good with people, but that interaction didn't go well. What's my part in that? What would I do differently? The shift is subtle but critical. One keeps you stuck in shame. The other keeps you in learning mode. Resilience through repetition. Here's what else happens when you reframe setbacks as obstacles to overcome rather than failures to hide from. You build resilience through repetition. The first time you get rejected, it feels devastating. You doubt yourself. You wonder if you should even try again. But if you push through and try again, something shifts. The second rejection still stings, but less. You survived the first one. You know you can survive this one. The third rejection? You start seeing patterns. You start understanding what works and what doesn't. The fourth, you're actually okay. You've built proof that rejection isn't fatal. This is what separates people who achieve difficult things from people who don't. It's not that achievers are more talented or more fearless. It's that they've built a track record of surviving setbacks. They know, not theoretically, but experientially, that they can fail and keep going. Marcus Aurelius faced endless obstacles, wars on multiple fronts, a plague that killed millions, political conspiracies, personal loss. But he faced them repeatedly. Each time he survived one, the next was less destabilizing. Each time he extracted learning, he applied it to the next challenge. Obstacles build resilience the same way weight training builds muscle, through repetition and progressive difficulty. So if you haven't failed much yet, understand you haven't been tested yet. The moment you start taking bigger swings, setbacks will come, and each one is your chance to get stronger. From setback to strength, the 3-step move. But here's the practical question. How do you actually move from "this is devastating" to "what can I learn from this" in the moment? Because the immediate emotional response is real. You don't just decide to be philosophical about failure. You feel it first, sometimes intensely. Marcus knew this. He wasn't trying to suppress emotion. He was learning to move through it consciously instead of being controlled by it. Here's the 3-step process from setback to strength. Step 1, name the emotion. I'm angry. I'm ashamed. I'm disappointed. I'm afraid people will think less of me. Don't suppress it. Don't pretend you're fine. Name it clearly and specifically. This simple act of naming reduces the emotion's grip on you. It creates a small space between you and the feeling. Step 2, separate the emotion from the fact. The fact, my proposal got rejected. The emotion, I'm devastated, and this means I'm not good enough. These are not the same thing. The fact is neutral. It happened. It's data about this specific proposal in this specific context. The emotion is real, but often exaggerated. It's your nervous system catastrophizing about what this means about you. Separating them gives you clarity. Step 3, ask the conversion question. What is this obstacle here to teach me? What capability do I need to develop? What assumption was I making that needs to be questioned? This is the question that converts the obstacle from setback into growth. And here's what's important. You can do this while still feeling the emotion. You don't have to be calm and centered. You can be hurt, angry, frustrated, and still ask the question. The moment you ask it, something fundamental shifts. You stop being a victim of circumstance. You become an agent. You start building something. Segment 3. Real setbacks from reaction to resilience. Scenario 1. The failed project. Let me show you how this works with real scenarios you've probably lived. You spent months on a project. You believed in it. Your team believed in it. You pushed for resources, managed stakeholders, drove it forward with everything you had. And then it doesn't ship, or it ships and nobody uses it, or it launches and the market response is silence. Your immediate reaction: I wasted months. I made terrible decisions. I was completely wrong about what mattered. Everyone can see I failed. Let's apply the framework. Step 1. Name the emotion. I'm embarrassed. I feel like I wasted time and let people down. I'm frustrated that my judgment was so far off. Don't bypass this. Let yourself feel it. Step 2. Separate emotion from fact. Fact: the project didn't gain market traction. Emotion: therefore, I'm a bad strategist and my career is derailed. These aren't the same thing. The first is data about this specific project. The second is catastrophizing. Step 3. The conversion question. What did this project teach me about market assessment? What early signals did I miss or misinterpret? What would I do differently on the next project? How can I use this to develop better judgment? Now you've converted a failed project into accelerated learning. You've actually developed better judgment because of the failure, not despite it. And here's what most people miss. People respect the person who learns from an ambitious failure more than the person who never tried anything difficult. Because trying ambitious things and learning from what doesn't work, that's how you actually develop. Scenario 2. The rejection. You applied for a promotion, or a new role, or an opportunity you really wanted, and you didn't get it. They chose someone else. Your immediate reaction: I'm not good enough. They saw right through me. Maybe I should stop trying for roles like this. The framework. Step 1. Name the emotion. I'm disappointed. I feel rejected and undervalued. I'm doubting whether I'm as capable as I thought. Step 2. Separate emotion from fact. Fact: this specific person was chosen over me for this specific role. Emotion: therefore, I'm fundamentally not as talented as I thought I was. The fact doesn't necessarily lead to the emotion. There could be dozens of reasons they were chosen: political considerations, specific skills they prioritized, timing, fit with a particular team, that have nothing to do with your actual capability. Step 3. The conversion question. What specifically did they value in the person they chose? What capability or experience gap do I actually have? How can I close that gap? What's the next opportunity where I can apply what I've learned from this? Now you've converted rejection into a development plan. You've got a specific direction. And here's what's true but hard to see in the moment. Rejection often clears the path for something better. You didn't get that role, so you stayed where you were and got an even better opportunity 6 months later. Or you went to a different company where you're more valued. Or you pivoted to something you wouldn't have considered if you'd gotten what you originally wanted. The obstacle was redirecting you. Scenario 3. The public failure. This is the one that keeps people up at night. You made a mistake, a visible one, in a meeting, in a deliverable, in a decision. Maybe your analysis was wrong and a senior leader called it out in front of everyone. Maybe you committed to a timeline you couldn't hit. Maybe you recommended something that failed spectacularly. Your immediate reaction: everyone knows I'm not as competent as they thought. I should have been more careful. I should hide until this blows over. The framework. Step 1. Name the emotion. I'm mortified. I'm afraid of what people think. I'm doubting my own competence. This is real. This is hard. Don't skip over it. Step 2. Separate emotion from fact. Fact. I made a mistake that was visible. Emotion. Therefore, people will never trust me again and my reputation is destroyed forever. These aren't correlated. One mistake, even a significant one, doesn't define your entire reputation. People remember how you handle mistakes more than they remember the mistakes themselves. Step 3. The conversion question. What caused this mistake? Was it insufficient analysis, overconfidence, poor communication, a blind spot in my judgment? What's my actual responsibility here? And then, this is the critical move. Own it. Name it clearly. Fix it. I want to circle back on X. I made a judgment call that didn't work out. Here's what I got wrong, and here's what I should have done differently. I've learned specific thing, and here's how I'm applying that going forward. The moment you own a mistake instead of defending it or hiding from it, something profound happens. People's respect for you actually increases. Why? Because you just demonstrated 3 things. 1. Integrity. You acknowledged it instead of making excuses. 2. Self-awareness. You understood what went wrong. 3. Commitment to growth. You extracted learning and you're applying it. The public failure, owned well, becomes proof that you're someone who can handle adversity with grace. And that's more valuable than never failing. Here's the deeper insight. The obstacle was an opportunity to demonstrate character. Most people in your position would have defended, deflected, or hidden. You didn't. You owned it. Now everyone knows you're someone who learns and grows instead of someone who makes excuses. That distinction matters more than you think. Connecting back to the framework. All 3 scenarios work because of what you've already learned. The dichotomy of control. You can't control whether the project succeeds, whether you get the promotion, whether your mistake is visible, but you have absolute control over how you respond and what you extract from it. The 4 virtues. You apply wisdom, seeing what actually went wrong, not what your ego says went wrong. Courage, admitting it. Justice, taking responsibility without blame shifting. Temperance, not catastrophizing the failure into a character indictment. Memento mori. In the long arc of your life and career, this setback is a single moment, but how you respond to it shapes who you become. All of it comes together when you face an obstacle, and that's when you discover the obstacle really is the way. Here's what I want you to remember from today. Number 1, obstacles aren't interruptions to your success. They are your success. Growth doesn't happen in comfort. It happens when you're pushed beyond your current capacity. The obstacle is the arena where you build what you need. Number 2, every setback is offering you information, not judgment. It's data about what works and what doesn't. The moment you treat it as feedback instead of failure, you stay in learning mode instead of shame. Number 3, the 3-step conversion is everything. Name the emotion. Separate emotion from fact. Ask what you're meant to learn. That's how you move from victim to agent, from reaction to response. Number 4, this week's practice. You've probably got a recent setback on your mind, or you're dreading one that's coming. Take it through the 3-step process. See what shifts when you stop running from the obstacle and turn toward it instead. The Setback Framework Offer. To help you practice this, we've created the Setback Framework, from reaction to resilience in 5 steps. It's part of the Complete Meditations Playbook. This PDF includes the detailed 3-step conversion process with specific prompts for each step, a setback scenario workbook where you can process a recent failure in real time, 5 specific professional scenarios: project failure, rejection, public mistake, conflict, missed opportunity, with the framework applied to each. A resilience building section showing how to prepare yourself mentally for inevitable setbacks. a 30-day tracker to notice how your relationship to obstacles shifts over time. The more you practice this framework, the faster you move through emotional reaction into learning response. Eventually, it becomes automatic. Obstacles stop being traumatic. They become interesting. They become the raw material for building the person you need to be. To get the Setback framework and the full meditations playbook, join our email list by clicking the link in the notes or episode description. I'll also put the subscription link in the pinned comment. Next week, we're starting a new book and exploring a new dimension of professional performance. We're diving into Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker. We'll explore how sleep impacts your decision-making, your emotional regulation, your ability to handle stress, and how to actually protect your sleep when everything is demanding your attention. Until then, download the Setback framework, work with a recent obstacle, let it teach you something. Thank you for being here through this 4-week journey into meditations. This is Book Takeaways for Professional Growth, and I'm Sophia. Keep growing.